Canelo Álvarez tells the truth about Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford gets in his feelings about it. Canelo said, other than Earl Spence, he ain't really beat no real good fighter.
No one thinks Terence Crawford, who has never fought above 150 for PBS, can beat Canelo Álvarez 168 pounds, which is his normal weight. Fans have been asking for this fight for months, and thanks to Turkey Yosik's management, it looks like it will happen in Las Vegas in September.
Official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13th, baby. Look forward to Canelo.
This is how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation?
The tension between Crawford and Canelo has only grown stronger. Things reached a boiling point during a recent run-in at an airport. Both attackers were in the same place at the same time to meet with Chai Alec. They began by talking, but things quickly turned physical. Canelo shot, but a cold look hand said that Crawford didn't belong at 168 pounds, but snapped back and called Canelo out for the conditions of his last fight.
Stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not.
Tension reached a breaking point when a shove led to Canelo throwing a short, sharp blow that fell on Crawford's chest, making those around them rush in to separate them before things got out of hand. When the police arrived, they pulled the two fighters apart. But it was clear that this fight was going to be personal. Canelo, smirking, brushed off Crawford's stare, muttering something about Crawford being too small and not worth the effort. But insiders say the confrontation didn't end there. According to people who knew what was going on, Coffin and Canelo kept yelling at each other as they were led away. That called Canelo a cherry picker and made fun of his past fights. Canelo, on the other hand, is said to have told his team, "This guy doesn't know what he wants. He's about to get hurt."
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like when you looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next.
Crawford was already annoying, and Sala Alvarez said mean things about the quality of opponents the Nebraska native has faced in his career. Now it's his trainer Brian McIntyre who is upset with the Guad native. The problem is the rehydration clause that Canelo is said to demand of his opponents, which means that they can't weigh more than a certain amount for the fight. After stepping on the scales, the but won't have to meet this condition and won't ask the Mexican, even if he is heavier. The first thing that came out of his mouth was that he wanted the fight. If Terence doesn't have a problem with that, I don't either.
Big classes, like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down.
That's not true. It's for wimps when they say you can't lift more than that weight. People in the ring asked McIntyre if they would ask for this clause for the Mexican boxer. He said, "This is boxing. I have the skills. You stepped on the scale. You gave the weight. And no matter how much you come back after you accepted the fight, let's get in the ring and fight like man. It's that easy." Terence Crawford seeks to show his greatness against Canelo Álvarez. Terence Crawford minimized the weight gap with Saul Alvarez because it is in this type of demand when great fighters show who they. People say you are too small, or you're outmatched, or you shouldn't be in the ring with this type of fighter. That's when great athletes perform at their best, he told Boxing Scene. Amir Khan is the only man to beat both Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford. The former unified super lightweight world champion stepped up to middleweight for a WBC title shot against Canelo back in May 2016, and despite a competitive start to the bout, was then stopped in emphatic fashion as Álvarez claimed a brutal 6th-round knockout 3 years later, and that is more natural weight of 147. Ulbs Khan challenged Crawford for his WBO welterweight title, but it was a similar story with the Bolton boxer who dropped in the first round before, but claimed a 6th-round TKO victory. Canelo and Crawford looks at to meet later this year in a highly anticipated clash between two of the current pound-for-pound greats, but TH says there is another man he faced who it's even harder.
Hey, get out. The big thing is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight for the beat him. If he don't beat him, he's okay. I think he's not going to go.
Speaking on the Live podcast, Khan admitted that Maros Mona was the most powerful fighter he has ever been in the ring with. "I beat him in 2010. That guy's a beast. I cannot remember anything from the first round, and then the next thing, the fight was a blur, man. I only get to remember things when I watch the fight back on TV. What a fight that was exciting. You had speed, power, and everything in there. He was very heavy-handed."
Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
So, man, that's what Crawford wants. He wants to tell the world that he's the best. So why push stipulations? then you know that you can beat the
Hits you, you feel it. It's not one of those stinging shots. I've been put down with shots that hadn't hurt me, a flash knockout. But with him, he had that devastating power that would go through you even when he was next to you and hit you in the side of the ribs. You feel how heavy his hand is. So I have to say Maidana was the biggest hitter. KH beat Maidana, a unanimous decision back in December 2010 to maintain his WBA super lightweight title in a fight that many view as one of the best of the year.
Crawford brings to the table, Canelo has the thing. He's seen his boxing ability, he's seen speed. There's nothing that he don't have. He's seen Mayweather, man, he's seen Lara, he's seen all these guys. There's nothing he brings at a smaller weight, too, coming back up. Now let's switch it to the other side. Has Crawford seen?
Boxing fans will be hoping another fight of the year contender comes later this year when Canelo and Crawford meet, and former Buo Errol Spencer has given his opinion for the bout. Terence Crawford is facing an entirely different task against Canelo Álvarez, not just in terms of weight, but in the raw physicality. A fighter who has built his legacy dominating bigger opponents. Many in the boxing world are already calling this a dangerous leap for Crawford, but his catch stays unwavering in their confidence. Ability to control the pace of a fight, walking down opponents with constant pressure. His durability, some match having taken shots from power punchers like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol without crumbling. Crate, on the other hand, has never faced an opponent who can carry that kind of sustained power over 12 rounds, and critics believe that will be the deciding factor. However, those inside the team Kulft argues that weight and power aren't the only elements that matter in a fight of this magnitude. According to them, Canelo has slowed down significantly, showing clear signs of vulnerability in recent fights. Point to his fight against Gerald Charlo, where Canelo failed to achieve a knockout against a naturally smaller man, despite Charlo being overly cautious. Throughout, even more telling, they say, was Canelo's showing against Edgar Banga. Though he won, he didn't win in the way many expected. Banga, who lacks elite-level skills, managed to have his moments, and that alone is enough to give Crawford's team faith. If Banga could land clean shots, they say, what happens when Crawford, a far superior boxer, gets his opportunities?